Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to a new live stream. How's it going? Hi everyone. Welcome. How's it going? ¿Cómo están todos? Espero que estén muy bien. Well, today we're going to learn some verbs, some really important Spanish verbs. I know the title is different verbs to say speak or talk in Spanish, like different verbs that you can use to say to speak, to talk in Spanish. Hablar is a very common Spanish verb. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this verb because it's a basic verb, but there's more. There are many more verbs that you can use, so that's good if you want to learn more verbs, if you want to add more verbs to your vocabulary. That's gonna be very helpful. Okay, before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and also click on the bell icon so you can get notified every time I live stream. I want to give a big shout out to our members, to our Cafecito members: Robert Green, Tom Siebold, Ralph Marquez, Brianna L., Ruby Brockenberry, Christopher Michael, William Lopez, Gregory Ramirez, Michael Lee, and David Beaver. Thank you guys for the support. El cafecito está delicioso. Muchas gracias. If you want to support this channel, you can become a Cafecito member. The only thing you gotta do is you need to click on the join button down below to read more about the perks and more details about the membership. Essentially, you're just buying me a cup of coffee because I love coffee. Okay? Thank you again, Cafecito members. Now, let's get started. Let's get started. Remember that I'm live streaming, so if you want to use the live chat, you can do that, of course, if you want to ask questions about Spanish, about what we're learning today. Also, if you want to say hola, that's also good. So you can use the live chat for that. The only thing you gotta do, you need to subscribe, because only subscribers can use the live chat. Okay, let's do this. Don't say hablar. I mean, you can use the verb hablar. You can use and say the verb hablar, but the purpose of this lesson is to let you know more about other verbs that are similar to this one, hablar. Hablar means to speak, to talk, right? You can say other verbs instead. Obviously, hablar is a must verb to use in Spanish, but there's more. Now, let's learn the first one. We're gonna learn only 5 verbs. And we're gonna see examples and whatnot. So yeah, it's gonna be good. The first verb is conversar. Just one sec, I need to change something here. Perfect, this is better. Conversar. I mean, the V sound, I still get those questions on the channel. Why are you saying V as in bell as opposed to V as in Victor? And I'm like, really? I've said this so many times during my live streams. The V sound, this sound here, just let me do something quickly here. Oops. This V sound in Spanish is B as in bell. Obviously, you can say it or pronounce it as V as in Victor. Spanish speakers will understand you just fine, but most Spanish speakers, I would say pretty much all Spanish speakers, say B as in bell. B. V. I mean, the name of the letter is V, but the sound is similar to B as in bell, okay? So please just remember that. Conversar sounds like Converse, the brand Converse. But it's not about shoes. It's not about sneakers. It's about talking, right? Conversar. Conversar. Let's see what this means. This verb means to talk. So it's very similar to hablar, hablar, conversar. You can use either one. Hablar, when you're talking about hablar, hablar is a very basic Spanish verb, but it's very versatile. So that means that you can use it if you want to say, for example, hablas español, hablas inglés. Do you speak English? Do you speak Spanish? Right? But you cannot use this verb if you want to ask someone if they speak English or Spanish. You can't say, ¿conversas en español? I mean, you can, but when you want to know if someone speaks a language, then you should use the verb hablar. Conversar is more about talking, more about talking. Let's have a talk. Let's talk about anything, the weather, politics, anything. So conversar is a very good verb for that if you want to talk, okay? Conversar. Now, let's look at some examples using this verb. Vamos a conversar. Vamos a conversar. This means let's talk. Vamos is a common expression, and you pretty much you probably know about this one because I've talked about this one before, this expression. And vamos means let's, okay? It can also mean let's go. Depends on the situation. If you're saying, I don't know, if you're saying to someone, vamos, so that can mean let's go somewhere. Or if you want to add more to this expression, you can, it means let's. Okay, see, if you want to add more to the conversation, I mean the sentence. Vamos a is also, well, remember this. Vamos a means let's. Okay, vamos by itself, just vamos. I don't know what I did there, but vamos by itself means let's go. Let's go. Vamos. Let's go. If you add the letter a, then it means, let's, ... And in this situation, conversar, talk. Vamos a conversar. Okay? Very, very good, because, I mean, this phrase here, vamos a, you can obviously replace this with anything, with any other verb. Vamos a comer, let's eat. Vamos a correr, let's run. Vamos a practicar, let's practice. Vamos a empezar. Actually, I released a video today about the phrase vamos a empezar, I believe. That was today's video. And that means let's get started, or let's start doing something. So vamos a is a very good phrase to learn for sure. Conversar means to talk. Vamos a conversar. Let's talk. Okay, so that's very good. Very, very good. The next one. The next example is, mis amigos y yo conversamos por horas. Mis amigos y yo conversamos por horas. This means my friends and I talked for hours. That happens. That's a common thing. That's a common thing for sure. Mis amigos, my friends, my amigos, friends, And we're using mis because amigos is plural. Mis amigos. If it was singular, it would be mi amigo without the S. Mi amigo. You remove the S from both words. Mi amigo. Mis amigos, plural. Okay, my friends, mis amigos, y yo, and I, mis amigos y yo, my friends and I, conversamos, talked, por horas, for hours. Por horas is a common expression that means for hours, when you do something for a long time, for hours, literally, you can use this expression for that, por horas, okay? So the literal translation is for hours. Horas, hours. Por, for, okay? So por horas, for hours. Excellent. We can see the verb conversar over here. Okay, so obviously you need to know the conjugation of the verb conversar if you want to use it. Of course, it's a regular verb, so it doesn't have anything weird, nothing specific, it doesn't have a specific conjugation. You need to follow the grammatical rules when you want to conjugate this verb. Okay, excellent. So that was the first verb. Now let's look at the next one. Okay, I don't know why this is in the way. I see some emoji in the way and I can't read the comments on the on the chat. Sorry. But welcome, Malik. Estaremos conversando sobre. No se usará la palabra hablar siempre. Exactly. I mean, yeah, conversar is a very great verb to say instead of hablar. Obviously, conversar means to talk. It doesn't mean to speak. It means to talk. It's more similar to the verb to talk. But yeah, it's a good one, definitely. Okay, the next one. The next one, guys, the next verb is charlar. I like this one. I like how it sounds. Charlar. Charlar. Yo charlo, tú charlas, charlemos, and so on. Charle is past tense. Of course, the joy of conjugating verbs in Spanish. This is another interesting one. It's not that difficult to conjugate because it's a regular verb. Regular. It doesn't have an irregular conjugation. It's pretty regular, so it's easy to conjugate if you know how to conjugate verbs in Spanish, of course. And charlar means to chat. It's very similar to chat. Also, it means to talk, to chat. And even it's very similar. Chat, charlar, they both start with the sound ch, chat, charlar, sorry. But yeah, they're quite similar, so a little similar, so it's easy to remember. That's something good. That is something good for sure. Now, the first example is Miguel quiere charlar conmigo. Miguel quiere charlar conmigo. This means we have, no, this is not what it means. I don't know what happened there. Damn it. Miguel wants to chat with me or wants to talk with me. Okay. That's what it means. I don't know what happened there. I apologize. Miguel quiere charlar conmigo. Now, let's break this down. Miguel is a name, is a first name. Miguel. It's similar to the name Mike. You know, Miguel, Mike, Michael. So, yeah, it's interesting. Quiere, wants. Okay. Charlar, wants to chat. Quiere charlar, wants to chat. Conmigo. Conmigo means with me. Okay? Conmigo. Conmigo. One word. Miguel quiere charlar conmigo. So it's very simple. Similar to saying, charlar is similar to saying to chat, to talk. You can also replace this one with the other verb we learned, conversar. Miguel quiere conversar conmigo. Miguel quiere charlar conmigo. You can even use hablar. Miguel quiere hablar conmigo. So it's pretty much the same thing. But the cool thing about this is that you have more options. If you don't want to sound repetitive in Spanish, you can use hablar, conversar, charlar. So that's pretty good. And even if you hear this verb, you know, some Spanish speaker says this to you, you know what it means. You know what it means. Charlar means to chat, to talk. So that's something really good. Let's look at another example. Let's see what we have here. Los políticos. Something is odd here. I think I made a mistake here. That's a different verb over there. I don't know why. I was working on this last night, so I apologize about that. Let me just give you another example. Hang on. Let me just remove this so you don't get confused. So you can say something like, me gusta charlar contigo. Okay? So this is a common thing to say in Spanish, of course. If you like or if you enjoy talking to someone, okay? This means I like chatting with you. Okay? This is what it means. Me gusta means I like. Me gusta, I like. If you say me gusta by itself, it means I like it. For example, you can, someone is asking you, ¿qué piensas de la película? What do you think about the movie? Okay, the movie, sorry. And you can just say, me gusta. I like it. I like it. That's it. But if you add more to me gusta, to the expression me gusta, then it means I like. Okay, just I like. In this situation, we have charlar, chatting, contigo, with you. This is very similar because conmigo means with me, contigo means with you. Conmigo, contigo. Similar words, but the meaning is different for sure. Now, when you say me gusta, I know that we have in English chatting, right? And if we translate chatting from English into Spanish, then it should be charlando. the gerund, the famous gerund. But when you use the expression me gusta, and if you want to add a verb right after, that verb is going to be in an infinitive form, which means you don't conjugate the verb. You just leave it as it is. So that means leave the ending that the verb has. In this situation, AR. Charlar, caminar, correr, pensar, hablar. So those are verbs in an infinitive form. They're not conjugated. So every time you use the phrase me gusta and you want to add a verb right after, you need to have it in that way, in the infinitive way. In an infinitive way, the only infinitive way, which is do not conjugate the verb. Me gusta charlar. I like chatting. Me gusta caminar. I like walking. Me gusta cocinar. I like cooking. Okay? So that's something important to remember when using the expression me gusta. Me gusta charlar. I like chatting. Contigo, with you. Okay? Charlar means to chat, to talk. Okay? Very important. Very important. Malik says, yo podría, me gustaré charlar contigo. No. That is, gustaré is, gustaré. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, but I don't think it works. I don't think it works. Me gustará, or me gustó. Are you talking future tense? Past tense? If it's past tense, then it is me gustó. Me gustó charlar contigo. Then it's fine. That's fine. That means I liked chatting with you. Okay? Future tense will be something like me gustará charlar contigo. I will like chatting with you. Okay? Gustará. Future tense, gustará. So you only need to replace the last E letter with A. Gustará. Me gustará charlar contigo. Contigo, I cannot set it as a question because of the intonation. But if you want to say, I will like chatting with you, me gustará charlar contigo. Great question. Thank you, Malik. Wes, hello. Hello, Wes. Hola, bienvenido or bienvenida. Excellent. Okay. Next. Charlar. Remember, charlar means to chat, to talk. So yeah. Good. Now the next verb is vialogar. Vialogar means, this is similar to hablar. It's very similar to hablar. You can pretty much use hablar or dialogar in many situations. But this verb means to talk or to discuss. Okay? Dialogar is mostly used in very formal situations, like in politics. This verb is used a lot when you see interviews, like, I don't know, about anything on the. You can hear this verb a lot on the news, and yeah, it's a very formal verb. You can use it in informal situations as well, but you will hear this more in formal situations. Okay, so to talk, to discuss. So let's look at an example. Tenemos que dialogar. Sorry. Tenemos que dialogar en lugar de pelear. Tenemos que dialogar en lugar de pelear. This means, we have to talk instead of fighting, okay? You don't want to fight, you want to talk, which is a better way to fix problems. You need to talk. Do not fight, just talk, right? So, tenemos que dialogar en lugar de pelear. Tenemos que is a great phrase. Tenemos que, and it means we have to, in this situation, dialogar, talk, okay, dialogar. En lugar is a great phrase that means instead, okay? En lugar. Now, when you add de, you're adding more to the phrase. En lugar de is a common phrase to find in the middle of sentences because you are saying, instead of doing this, let's do this. Okay? Or let's do this instead of this other thing. So, en lugar de means instead. Pelear, of fighting. So, instead of, en lugar de, instead of, pelear, fighting. Okay? Tenemos que dialogar en lugar de pelear. We have to talk instead of fighting. Pelear, we have two verbs here. Dialogar, to talk, to discuss, that's what it means. And pelear means to fight, like literally, and sometimes just it means like, arguing. When you are arguing with someone, you're not necessarily fighting, you are arguing, okay? So it can be literally or figuratively. And it's quite interesting, this verb, pelear. Sometimes moms say, no peleen, and that means, stop fighting, stop arguing, and so on. So it's a common thing to hear as well when people are fighting or arguing. Excellent. Now the next example, let's see what we have here. Los políticos dialogarán, future tense, sobre la economía. Los políticos dialogarán sobre la economía. What does this mean? This means the politicians will discuss about the economy, or will discuss the economy, okay? So they're gonna talk about the economy, how to fix it, right? And that's a great example. You will hear this a lot, as I said, in formal situations. Maybe someone from the news is saying this. Los políticos dialogarán sobre la economía. The politicians will discuss or will talk about the economy, okay? So dialogar is a very, very common verb that means to talk, to discuss. And This verb is an irregular verb, so it has some irregularities here and there. Not too many, but there are some irregularities. So this is a verb to use if you have, an advanced Spanish. It's a great verb to practice, definitely. Dialogar, to talk. It can also mean to hold talks, okay? To have a conversation. And so it's it's formal. It's a formal verb for sure. Excellent. Now, the next, do you have any questions, guys? Remember, you can use the live chat to ask questions. Oh, hang on. I didn't break down the last sentence. Los políticos means politicians or the politicians, okay? Políticos, los políticos, the politicians, dialogarán, future tense, will discuss. I think it's better if I do this. Oops. Will discuss. Dialogarán, will discuss, sobre la economía. Sobre means about. So it's a common thing to say dialogarán sobre. Okay? Dialogarán sobre. It's similar to saying to talk or will talk about. Okay? La economía means the economy. Okay? La economía. Both words are very, very similar. So that's an easy one for sure. Dialogarán sobre. So remember that this word here can work really well with this verb over here. Dialogarán sobre. You can also say dialogarán acerca. Sobre and acerca mean about. Okay? Acerca or sobre. Sobre also means envelope. By the way, el sobre, the envelope. But when talking about something, it means about. Sobre can mean about. Excellent. Okay, let's move on. The next verb, guys. Let's see what we have here. The next verb is platicar. Platicar means to, it means to talk. To talk, to chat, and to tell. This is another, oh my God, a very common Spanish verb. If you want to say hablar, you can also say platicar, okay? But remember, platicar doesn't mean to speak. Do you speak English? ¿Hablas inglés? You cannot say platicas inglés. You cannot say that. So platicar is more like, a talk, a chat. You're, just talking to someone. Platicar is a very, very common Spanish verb, and it means to talk, to chat, to tell. It depends on the situation. It can work with other words, and this verb can be part of different common expressions in Spanish. But we can talk about that in a future lesson. We're talking just about the verb platicar for now. So, platicar. Let's look at an example. Platícame todo. Platícame todo. This is a good expression, actually, the whole sentence here, because it means tell me everything. when, someone started saying something interesting, you can say this. Platícame todo. Tell me everything. It could be a gossip. It could be something just interesting that you want to know more of or more about. You can use this expression for that. Platícame todo. Okay? Tell me everything, every single detail. Platícame todo. Now, platícame, we have a noun here. Sorry, a pronoun, me, which means me, okay? And platica, tell. But in Spanish, we do this a lot. We attach pronouns to verbs. It's a common thing. That is used a lot in reflexive situations, but it's a common thing to do. Platícame, tell me, okay? Todo means everything or all, okay? Todo, everything, all. So yeah, this is another common word in Spanish for sure. Todo. Platícame todo. Tell me everything. And we need the accent mark here because otherwise it would sound like platícame. And the intonation is wrong. You need the accent mark there so you get the right intonation. Platícame todo. Okay, don't forget that for sure. Now the next example, guys. Let's look at the next example. Nosotros estamos platicando acerca del libro. Nosotros estamos platicando acerca del libro. This means we are talking or chatting about the book, okay? Nosotros estamos, just keep in mind, guys, that we don't use personal pronouns, the pronouns yo, tú, él, nosotros, vosotros, ustedes, ellos, ellas. We don't use those all the time. So technically, I could not say this and just say, estamos platicando acerca del libro. And that is correct. But, sometimes people say pronouns. They do. So, nosotros estamos platicando acerca del libro. It's also correct, okay? Nosotros means we. Nosotros, we. Estamos, are. Platicando, talking or chatting, okay? Acerca. Do you remember this word? I talked about it a few seconds ago. Acerca means about. Del, in this situation, means the, because, let me tell you why. Acerca de is a common phrase. Let me just remove this. Acerca de is a common phrase that means about, but when you say de, you're adding more. You need to add more to the sentence. Acerca usually is not said by itself, but you will see acerca de very often. Acerca de means also about, okay? It means about. Now, we had del. Why del? Because when you have this, if you want to say the book, it is el libro, okay? El libro. El libro means the book. But in Spanish, This, let me just do this. These two words cannot be together in a sentence, okay? So when you won't see this, but when you think this is the way to do it, it's not. You need to remove one E and it becomes del libro, okay? So that's how it works. Remember that when you have the word de, this one here, and you have el, that becomes del, okay? Acerca del libro. I mean, grammar. Am I right? So that's how it works in Spanish. That's how it works. Platicar. Let me tell you that platicar is an irregular verb. So it has some irregularities. So you have to remember certain things about this verb, certain conjugation about this verb. It's a unique verb for sure. And now, I have here to tell, right? To tell. Let me show you an example when platicar means to tell. For example, María me platicó acerca del problema. Okay? Something like that. María me platicó acerca del problema. What does this mean? María told me about the problem. María me platicó acerca del problema. María told me about the problem. So that's why sometimes it means to tell. Before I had an example that means to tell, tell me everything, platícame todo. But if someone is telling you or told you about something, you can use the verb platicar as well, okay? So she told me this. But it's more, it's used in situations when it's like, I heard that this happened. It's more like gossipy, okay? When you use this verb platicar, okay? María told me about your problem. María me platicó acerca de tu problema. So it's similar to saying decir, platicar, okay? But platicar is more like, we're chatting, we're telling secrets here. So it's a very, very good verb for those situations as well. Platícame todo, tell me everything. It's a very good phrase for sure. Do you guys have any questions? Te platicaré más tarde. That's a great example. Sobre y acerca. Yes, as I said before, sobre y acerca. Sobre and the word acerca mean about. Okay. Great questions, great examples as well. Lo te platicaré acerca de... no. No, it's not, I don't, instead of saying lo te, you should say te lo platicaré, okay? Te lo platicaré más tarde. because you don't, it's like saying, I will tell you later. Okay? Te lo platicaré. Let me show you here. Te lo, oops, not like that. Te lo platicaré más tarde. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. There you go. Te lo platicaré más tarde. That means I will tell you later. Okay? I will tell you later. Platicar is similar to decir, because you can say diré as well. Te lo diré más tarde. I will tell you later. Diré or decir means to tell. It's a very common verb, and the translation is to tell. But platicar is also used. And as I said before, it's similar to hablar in a way, because you're talking, you're talking to someone about anything, it could be mostly gossips, when you're talking about other people's business. You use platicar. Just imagine you're sipping some tea. You're hearing the tea. And or someone is telling you the tea. So it's similar to that, You just want to know more about certain thing, certain situation. Platícame. Tell me, right? Tell me what you know. So yes. Te lo platicaré. Te lo platicaré más tarde means I will tell you later. And it's not lo te. Okay? Lo te is not correct. It's the other way around. Te lo platicaré. Okay? Lo is an pronoun. And it's like saying it. Okay? It. I will tell you later. I know the translation is different. That's why I always say you cannot translate from English into Spanish word by word. It's not gonna make sense. It's not gonna make sense. Sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't. And this is one of those times. Te lo platicaré más tarde. It's saying, I will tell it to you later. Okay? But it doesn't make sense in English. In Spanish, it does. Okay? Te lo platicaré. Te lo is similar to saying I will or I, in the situation. Yo te lo platicaré. Essentially, you're saying that. But te is also a pronoun. Okay? Te is like saying, sorry, it's like saying you. It can get confusing. Lo, it's similar to it, but we don't have it here. Platicaré. I will tell. Okay? So essentially, you're saying yo te lo platicaré. I will tell you. Más tarde means later. Okay, later. Más tarde. Más tarde. You cannot use, I know sometimes people say later. It's not the same thing. Later means you will do something later. I mean, más tarde. That's what it means. Later. Great example. Malik. Great example. Excellent. Okay, let's move on. Guys. Let's move on. We have one more verb, and that would be it. Just one more. That's it. It's very interesting for sure. The last verb is. Actually, I believe it's a phrase. It's a phrase. It's not, I mean, you need to know the conjugation of a verb, the verb tener. Sorry. The verb tener, because tener means to have, and that's a verb. So the phrase is tener una charla. Tener una charla. Tener una charla. What does this mean? Charla sounds like charlar. We talked about that verb, charlar. So what is charla? Charla. Tener una charla. This means, to have a talk. To have a talk. That's interesting. Tener means to have. Una, a, charla, talk. Charla is a noun and it means talk. Okay? For example, quiero tener una charla contigo. Quiero tener una charla contigo. This means I want to have a chat with you. Okay, someone wants to chat with you. Tener una charla is an informal phrase, you know. You can use this in informal situations, and it's just to have a chat. Just to have a chat. That's what it means. Quiero means I want. Essentially, you're saying yo quiero. You don't need yo all the time. So quiero means I want. Okay? Tener, to have, you know. Quiero, similar to I want to. Tener, have. Una, a. Charla, chat. Contigo. We talked about this word already. Contigo means with you. Conmigo, with me. Contigo, with you. Okay? That's what this phrase or this sentence means. And quiero tener una charla contigo means I want to have a chat with you. Tener una charla, we can see the phrase right over here. Tener una charla, to have a talk, to have a chat, okay? Charla, talk, chat, same thing. Same thing. Okay. The next one, the next example is, let's see what we have here. ¿Quieres tener una charla con ella? ¿Quieres tener una charla con ella? This means, do you want to have a chat with her? Okay, it's just a question. Just a simple question, very similar to the previous example. We're using querer, the verb querer again. And in this situation, we have quieres, and that means do you want? Essentially, you're saying tú quieres, but we don't need tú. We just need quieres. Okay, quieres, do you want? Tener una charla, have a chat. Quieres, once again, it means do you want to tener una charla, have a chat. Con means with. Ella means her. Ella means she, and her in this situation. Con ella. It's like when you're saying contigo, with you, con ella, with her, con él, with him, conmigo, with me, okay? So just remember that this con can work with ella, con ella, two words, whereas here we have only one word. So when you say contigo, with you, is one word. When you say conmigo, one word, with me, okay? When you want to say anything else, con él, ella, nosotros, ustedes, two words, okay? Two words. Just remember that. It's something important to remember for sure. Something important. Okay. So that is it, guys. Do you have any more questions? In order to use this phrase, you need to know the conjugation of the verb tener. Yo tengo, él, tú tienes, él tiene. Yo tengo una charla con mi padre. You know, it's similar to saying I'm having a talk, or I'm having a chat with with my father, or I'm chatting with my father. Okay, so charlar and tener una charla, both are very similar. The previous verb that we talked about, charlar, okay, to chat, it's very similar to this one too. Tener una charla, to have a talk, to have a chat, okay? Charla means talk or chat. Very good. Do you have any questions, guys? Any questions? Let's see. Tendré que estudiar estos verbos cuando hemos terminado. Okay, yeah. That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, they're very useful verbs. The last one was a phrase, but it has a verb that you need to know about for sure. But yeah, they're common verbs, and they're used instead of hablar sometimes. For example, conversar can be used either hablar or conversar. Vamos a hablar. For example, here, someone can say vamos a hablar. Let's talk. Same thing. But some in other situations, people will say vamos a conversar. Let's talk. Same thing, okay? Same thing. Here, charlar. Miguel quiere charlar conmigo. Miguel wants to chat with me. Or Miguel quiere hablar conmigo. Miguel wants to talk with me, okay? So, similar verbs, okay? Very similar. Now, dialogar. People can say tenemos que hablar en lugar de pelear, and that's also perfect, okay? And even here, los políticos hablarán, that's also correct, right? So hablar applies to these situations. It works in these situations, but sometimes Spanish speakers will say dialogar. Same thing with the other one. What's the other one? I missed one. Charlar. Well, yeah, we talked about that one. Same thing with platicar. Te lo platicaré más tarde. Well, this one is tricky because platicar is essentially to talk. You're going to talk with someone, but it's a very peculiar situation when you're just telling someone about something, okay? So platicar is a bit trickier because it can mean to tell, to talk, to chat, okay? Nosotros estamos platicando acerca del libro. This one can be replaced with hablando. Nosotros estamos hablando acerca del libro, and that works, okay? In this situation, it's similar to decir. Diré. Te lo diré más tarde. I will tell you later. Okay, so it's tricky, but platicar essentially means to talk, to chat, and to tell. So this one is a good verb as well. And lastly, tener una charla. Quiero tener una charla contigo. You can replace all of this with hablar. Quiero hablar contigo, okay? And it means I want to talk to you, okay? Same thing, similar. But some Spanish speakers might say this, and now you know what it means. I want to have a chat with you. Quiero tener una charla contigo. Or here, ¿quieres tener una charla con ella? Do you wanna have a chat with her? You can replace this with hablar. ¿Quieres hablar con ella? Do you want to talk to her? Okay. But that's also common to see. ¿Quieres tener una charla con ella? Do you want to have a chat with her? So it's very, very interesting for sure. So yeah, I suggest you use all of these verbs and this phrase if you want to master Spanish, because people say hablar, but not all the time in Spanish, right? They say other things. So if you want to understand all of that, you need to know about all of this. So it's interesting for sure. Okay, let's see. ¿Cuándo estarás yendo? Almost correct. ¿Cuándo estarás en vivo otra vez después de esto? I live stream usually every Tuesday, and sometimes I have to do it another day, but it's always every week. So if you don't want to miss out my streams, just click on that notification, the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel, and you can see it even now under the live stream. You can see that bell icon thing, and if you click on it, you can activate all the notifications. So YouTube lets you know every time I live stream, usually every Tuesday evening around 6-7 p.m. I'm trying to do it a bit earlier than usual, but yeah, definitely if you don't want to miss out any live stream, just click on that bell down below and activate all the notifications. Yeah, so thank you for stopping by. Let's see, Wes is saying something. What time and day of the week do you go live? Okay. Well, I just said that. Usually every Tuesday evening from 6 to 7-ish, I live stream. But yeah, you absolutely have to click on the notification icon, the bell icon, so you know when I live stream, because YouTube will send you a notification on your phone letting you know, hey, Sugar Astronaut is gonna be live in 30 minutes. I think YouTube sends 2 notifications, one 30 minutes before the live stream, and the second one when I'm live streaming. Yeah. Thank you for asking that, Malik and Wes. Do you always start 6:30 on every Tuesday? I wish. It's just sometimes I'm always super busy, and I used to live stream at 7 every Tuesday, but I might be doing that a bit earlier. Yeah, around 6 or 5-ish Eastern time, by the way. Eastern time. But yeah, usually every week. Okay, I'm trying to do this every week. Okay, excellent. Thank you for asking, Wes. Thank you for stopping by, guys. It was great to talk to you. You asked very interesting questions, and also you sent really good examples as well. Thank you so much for doing that. And yeah, I hope you like this stream. If you liked it, please give it a like. That helps me a lot. Also, if you want to support this channel even more, you can check out the Cafecito membership. And to know more about that, the perks and the fee, it's a monthly fee. It's less than $3, and essentially you're just buying me a cup of coffee because I love coffee. Amo el café. So yeah, if you want to check that out, just click on the join button down below, because when you click on that button, you will see just the information about the membership. Okay, so if you like it, then you can get it for sure. Okay, excellent. I also have a Spanish community on Discord that is for free. If you want to join it, you can find the link down below. Please read the rules before joining the server, the Discord server. Essentially, it's just a community where people ask about Spanish. You can also practice your Spanish. Please be active if you are part of the community. I'm part of that community. I created that community. Sometimes I'm not too active there, but I try to be online. So yeah, you can ask about Spanish, you can practice Spanish, you can share interesting things about Spanish as well. So yeah, feel free to check that out if you want to. Thanks for everything. And well, I'll see you next time. Buenas noches, buenos días, buenas tardes. I don't know where you're watching, but from where you're watching, maybe right now it's morning, afternoon, evening, night, I don't know, but have a lovely day, afternoon, night, wherever you are. Thank you for watching. Muchas gracias por ver este en vivo. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Hasta la próxima. Adiós.